friends of the channel. This is a beautiful story where a musician makes a magical musical instrument that plays celestial songs. In a city of Atlantis, filled with myths, legends, and art, when the musician plays the instrument, he emits harmonizing vibrational frequencies that heal the people and animals around him. Please support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. A frozen light in Atlantis. The bioluminescent pulse of Atlantis did not beat in the heart. It vibrated in the mercury tides that flowed through its transparent streets. This was not the sunken ruin of ancient clay, but a hyperfuturistic resonance hub, a city of silicates and living light suspended within a pressurized bubble of heavy water miles beneath the Atlantic. Here, the citizens didn't speak in phonics, but in tonal arrays, their thoughts mediated by neurologistic interfaces. Craig was a master oscillator, a man whose skin bore the faint, glowing tattoos of frequency maps. For decades, he had felt a dissonance in the city, as subtle, jagged static in the collective consciousness caused by the friction of too much data and too little soul. He retreated into the silence, a vacuum-sealed laboratory built into a thermal vent, to construct something the world had never seen. The ether cello, it was not made of wood or metal, but of frozen light, a lattice of stabilized photons and crystalline memory foam that responded to the bioelectric field of the player. Its strings were filaments of gravity, pulled tight across a resonator carved from a fallen meteorite. When Craig first drew the bower wand of pure obsidian, the sound did not travel through the air. It rippled through the atomic structure of the room. It was a celestial song, a sequence of ratios that mirrored the rotation of distant pulsars and the breathing of the deep-sea vents. As Craig walked into the great plaza of Atlantis, the city was in a state of greyout, a psychological malaise where the citizens' internal rhythms had fallen out of sync with the planet. He sat on a plinth of lapis lazuli and began to play. The first note was a low-frequency hum that recalibrated the nervous systems of everyone within a mile. It was the $432 Hz frequency of the Earth's own heartbeat, but layered with shimmering overtones that reached into the ultraviolet. The transformation was instantaneous and terrifyingly beautiful. A woman suffering from cellular decay felt her DNA snap back into its correct geometric alignment as the vibration acted as a microscopic architect, stitching her back together. A pod of cybernetic dolphins patrolling the perimeter of the city paused in their frantic sonar sweeps. The jagged scars on their fins, remnants of ocean plastic and propeller strikes, began to glow and seal. But then, the music shifted. Craig pushed the bow harder, tapping into a vertical harmonic, a frequency that bridged dimensions. The air in Atlantis began to crystallize. Beings made of pure refracted radiance solar charioteers of legend began to phase through the city's translucent domes. They weren't ghosts. They were echoes of a higher density of life, drawn to the purity of Craig's song. They danced in the streets, their movements leaving trails of liquid rainbow that lingered in the air like neon silk. The city's AI, a massive consciousness named Siren, began to weep in binary, its processors cooling as it found a mathematical proof for love within Craig's melody. However, the twist in the vibration came when the music reached its zenith. As the beings of light embraced the citizens, a profound low-frequency shudder rocked the seafloor. Craig realized that by healing the city, he was drawing the disharmony out of the people and into the earth itself. The shadows cast by the light beings weren't just absences of light, but they were physical manifestations of the city's collective trauma. These shadows began to coalesce into a dark, subsonic kraken of sound and null wave that threatened to shatter the very glass domes holding back the crushing weight of the ocean. The high of the celestial union crashed into a low of existential threat. The light beings began to flicker and dim as the null wave rose. Craig's fingers bled as he gripped the gravity strings, realizing that a song of pure healing was incomplete without the integration of the dark. He didn't stop playing. He changed the key. He modulated the celestial song into a minor chord, a bridge that acknowledged the pain, the decay, and the depth of the abyss. He began to play the sound of the shadows. In an innovative leap of acoustic engineering, Craig used the ether cello to perform a reversal. He took the jagged, violent frequencies of the null wave and inverted them, playing them back against themselves. The shadows didn't vanish. They were transformed. They became the bass to the celestial treble, creating a perfect, holistic symphony of the whole. The domes stopped cracking. The dark kraken dissolved into a gentle, violet mist that settled over the city like a protective shroud. The light beings merged with the citizens, not as external visitors, but as an awakened state of internal clarity. The rainbows solidified into permanent architectural bridges of light. Atlantis was no longer just a city. It had become a living, breathing instrument of the cosmos. Craig let the bow fall. The silence that followed was not an absence of sound, but a presence of peace so profound that even the tides slowed to listen. He had not just played a song, he had rewritten the fundamental code of existence through the power of a single, perfect vibration.